They think
2 words, OnlyFans. Cutting that.
I got the looks that shine. So here comes what.
Welcome back to the 2 Words Podcast, where we're doing our season 4 finale wrestler spotlight.
Whoop, whoop.
Talking about the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, the showstopper, Mr. WrestleMania himself. I think our undisputed number 1, right?
Absolutely.
Like both of us.
The GOAT.
Yeah, immediately when like I got into wrestling, I immediately attached myself to Shawn Michaels because like this is the guy. He's fun, he's athletic, he's great on the mat, he's from Texas, he checks all of the marks. And he's a Christian, and he's very into his faith and was pushed his faith out there as a human being, which is not always something people do when they're in the spotlight. So it was kind of cool. So I guess the question is like, why is he our all-time number 1?
It's a lot of good questions, but that's the hardest one.
I think for me personally, like he was a great performer.
Oh yeah.
But part of that performance was like he could tell stories with the match. Like so many times you have wrestlers that, tell the story going into the match. The match is part of the story, and then like they keep telling the story after the match, or the story's ended by the match. But like with Shawn Michaels, I mean, and we'll get into these matches here in a little bit, but Shawn Michaels Undertaker matches, like the matches themselves were the story.
Absolutely.
The moments in those matches were the story.
And that second one, it was a perfect retirement match.
Perfektenschlag.
Yeah. The stay down thing from Undertaker.
Yeah.
Stay down.
Yeah.
Him refusing to. Beautiful stuff.
The Ric Flair match.
Yeah.
So much.
I'm sorry. I love you.
Yeah.
Sweet
like
chin music.
How do you tell, like you tell a story with your with your movements and with the way you react. And I think that's, really the biggest part of it, because honestly, he was good on the mic.
He's all right. Yeah.
He was definitely not great on the mic.
So here's my list of why. These are all just little parts of the reason why it's my number 1. First wrestler of my generation to overcome Vince McMahon's distaste for having small guys win the title, the big title.
Yeah.
He did not like that. He did not like having small guys win it. We saw that played out as a storyline with Daniel Bryan. He was one of the very few still Grand Slam champions, having won all the titles. He is the king of long form matches. He won 2 back-to-back Royal Rumbles. He's put in an amazing Iron Man matches. Ric Flair's farewell match, the first one anyway. 2 show-stopping matches with The Undertaker at WrestleMania rank as some of the greatest matches of all time. All very long matches, and none of them got slow. None of them got boring. You would never hear a chant in a Shawn Michaels match.
Yeah.
If this is boring.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. He built DX, one of the greatest stables of all time. Twice.
That needs to be noticed. Like he did that twice. And he and that's part of kind of something that I was thinking is like, he just keeps reinventing himself in like a positive way.
Yeah. Sweet chin music, one of the best looking finishers ever. And you need to have one that looks devastating as a small guy like that, when it's not going to be like a submission hold or something. I believe every sweet chin music I see.
Oh yeah.
It looks so
good. It makes that sound.
No one can do it like him too. It's so perfect. That sound is a perfect sound.
And that's part, because there's lots of guys that do super kicks.
Yes.
Like everybody has a super kick, but there's always that one guy who does that one move really, really well. Like, Goldberg's spear.
Yeah.
Nobody does a spear like Goldberg.
That's why they had to give Roman Reigns that Superman punch.
Yeah.
Because his spear wasn't selling.
You know, nobody does the RKO, but before it had a bunch of different names. Like, nobody does the RKO like Randy Orton.
Right.
Nobody does Sweet Chin Music like Shawn Michaels.
Absolutely. But most of all, I think I really admire him for his transition as a person, like a real person.
Yeah.
Because he really was the vain, egotistical jerk of a person before he first retired in '98, when he thought that he was done because of his injuries. And he was a drug addict, an alcoholic, all this junk. And he really did come to Christ and turn his whole life around.
Yeah.
And the Shawn Michaels that showed up in 2002, pardon me, was so different and so almost inspiring, coming in like a friggin' white knight,
Yeah.
ready to take down Triple H. Like, loved it. I didn't expect it. This was long before internet rumors and all this that I was involved in. Just watching that happen live and seeing Shawn freaking Michaels come out in a Saved One t-shirt from Caruso, just like, what is happening? And I love it all.
He literally went to the Lifeway store before going or showing up at SummerSlam.
Showed up in SummerSlam with his Phil 413 on there.
Yeah. Wouldn't it have been so great to just see like Shawn Michaels come in all of the awful Caruso shirts?
Catch up with Jesus.
Catch up with Jesus.
The Lord's Gym.
Yeah, I mean, like, they were, oh my gosh. I relish in Jesus' saving power, whatever. Like, it would have been so great if you just kept showing up. Mm-hmm. In that sort of stuff.
Jesus instead of Reese's.
Yeah, that was the big one. Gosh, that was so bad. Christians, why did we do this to ourselves? There was a Mountain Dew one too, wasn't there?
Meant to die.
Meant to die.
Yeah.
They didn't even make sense at some point. It was just a word over a logo.
Word with an M and a word with a W. No, I mean a word with a D. Sorry. An M and a D. That's what we need. Let's find it out. Let's figure it out.
All right. So, and it's almost an impossible task.
Yeah.
But, like, what are just some of the outrageously great matches that Shawn Michaels has? Because you could almost say all of them, but...
Okay. So we're doing matches?
Yeah, we'll go with the matches.
I got some moments, too.
Okay.
But let's say the ladder match with Razor Ramon. Like, it wasn't the first ladder match, but it might as well have been.
Yeah.
Because that's the one everyone remembers.
Yeah.
Fantastic ladder match.
Oh, that whole thing was put together. You can sprinkle in your moments in here as well.
Okay, I will.
If you'd like.
I'll sprinkle them.
Jeff Jarrett at In Your House 2. They did a match in '95 that people don't really talk about a lot, but it was, I watched a little bit of it coming before I came here, and it was like, both of those guys really did. It goes back to that whole telling a story and being able to really use your character as part of the match.
Yeah, I rented that pay-per-view on VHS.
Oh,
in 8th grade.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
His Elimination Chamber match in his gross brown pants where he won the WWE title.
Oh, man. Those pants.
He had the brown pants and he had like the weird the bob haircut.
Yeah.
Like it was like shoulder length.
Yeah. Well, because he had just come back like a year earlier, right?
Not even that long.
Yeah.
Like it was that year, but yeah.
Yeah. Triple H at SummerSlam, I think the year before.
Yeah, that was the unsanctioned street fight.
That was the one he came back in the Cruiser shirt. Yeah, I mean, and kudos to those two guys for being able to like tell this small part of their story and make that part of like they were best friends and then Shawn Michaels left and then they were huge enemies. I mean, they were rivals.
Yeah.
And then they were best friends again.
And they worked all the different ways.
Like
it worked
seamlessly,
so well.
seamlessly. That elimination chamber match in 2003 though, that was like that whole match start to finish was nuts because you forget like that was Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Jericho, Goldberg, Kevin Nash, and I think there was one more guy. It was
There was one more, but I
it
don't
was
remember.
insanity.
It was a big match.
Yeah, it was insanity. The I love you, I know moment.
Absolutely.
If you don't bawl like a baby,
Or no, that you said I love you. I know that's Star Wars. You meant I'm sorry. I love you.
I'm sorry, I love you. Yeah, whatever.
Hey, you're just up in your nerd cred.
Just
that's
up in the
all.
nerd credit. The I'm sorry, I love you thing. Like if you just don't bawl like a baby,
man.
like even if you don't
'Cause
like
he was
Ric Flair,
balling, man. He was balling like a baby.
knowing that Ric Flair has been a garbage human being for a while, like you still go,
He was still the inspiration for a lot of wrestlers.
how does Shawn Michaels beat up a 60-year-old man and we somehow feel sympathy for Shawn Michaels? That's why he's the best. That's why he's number one.
I got HBK versus Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 21. I think people forget like how good of a rivalry Kurt Angle and HBK had.
Yeah.
They worked. Their chemistry was seamless as well. Like in a way, probably not seen until the Taker matches. Like
Yeah.
they were real good.
You forget how good of a like, and I know that it's dumb to say this, but like I think you do forget how good of a wrestler and performer Kurt Angle was.
Only because he was also such a big personality.
Yeah.
Like he had such a range of the comedy and the heel stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's what you remember from him most. You don't really remember the matches, even though the matches were fantastic matches too. The match that he had with Hogan at SummerSlam 2005.
I have that on my list.
It's so good. It's your what?
I have that on my list.
On your list, yeah. Where he was, the way it was set up is it was going to be a set of 3 matches between Hogan and HBK, with HBK winning one, Hogan winning one, Hogan winning the last one. That's how it was set up. But Hogan kind of last minute is like, you know what? I don't want to lose any of these matches. And Vince was like, okay. And
Sure.
so HBK heard that.
Probably did the whole, well, that's not going to work for me,
He
brother.
was going to lose Hogan for 3 times and heard that he was going to lose on the match he was supposed to win. And so he just went out there and flopped like a flippin' rag doll. Every hit sent him just every limb in every direction. He bounced. He did cartwheels. He flopped on the ground like a fish.
Yeah.
Like it was the pettiest way to handle it, but it was so entertaining. Going back and watching just Hogan's face through the whole thing, where he's both baffled and enraged the entire match.
But that's the other thing is the probably the best part to me about that whole match is when Hogan gets interviewed about the HBK overselling. He goes, I didn't think he was overselling at all. That's just how you wrestle, isn't it? Like to Hogan,
That's what my moves do.
to Hogan, Shawn Michaels was doing the best job of anybody at selling for him, and he doesn't understand why people think it's all like.
Oh gosh,
love that. And then we have both of the Taker matches. Like we don't even have to talk about those, but like,
yeah. Well, I have 2 moments for those 2.
okay, yeah, I think that when you have such a good match that one of the guys leaves and goes, I should just stop wrestling. Like as an artist, as somebody who has performed, as somebody who does, who stages for a living, like I go like, I'm never content with anything that I ever do completely.
Right.
And so like the idea that I would be done with something and go, oh, I should just stop.
That was good. That was nice. That could
This
have
is
been
my swan song.
that could
Watch
have
me
been the
fly.
final match for both of them.
Yeah.
And everybody would have been happy
Yeah.
because it was so good. And
Easily.
it probably should have been the last one for Undertaker. But anyway, the 2 moments that I have from the first one from WrestleMania 25 was HBK coming down from the sky as like the anti-Taker in a white cloak, white cowboy hat, just like the holy version of the Undertaker.
Yeah.
That was the dopest HBK entrance of all time, in my opinion. But the second one was actually like the second one, if you remember the storyline buildup, was that HBK wanted to prove himself. said, I should not have lost that match at WrestleMania 25. I need another chance. And Undertaker was like, nope, you get one. And so it became like, it was like a 4-month storyline of HBK doing everything he can to convince or earn his way into this match. He convinced the world that he could win the Royal Rumble and challenge the Undertaker for his championship of just holding the streak.
Yeah.
But we all bought it, and then he lost, and you just saw like his heartbreak as he got kicked over the ropes.
Yeah.
At Royal Rumble, thinking that was his last chance. Like the chase was just a beautiful final storyline for him.
And this might be one of the weirder things I've ever said, but his pants in that match were outstanding. That is the best looking getup ever from any wrestler ever. It was the white chaps with the gold, with the gold tribal on it, and it looks dope.
It was sick. And my last moment, and then I'll let you finish it up, is of course the very first moment for HBK. The true HBK was when he kicked his Rocker's partner, Marty Jannetty, right through the glass with the super kick or the sweet chin music. And that was just like, that set him on a rocket ship and to the moon. Yeah.
And just this idea that like, he did all this stuff where he was like the skeevy guy, and he was, you know, with Sensational Sherry, and then he was with Kevin Nash as like his bodyguard, and you know, but then he also like get in the match, and then like it was like the opposite of what the Miz does, right? Because like the Miz will like be the skeevy one and then trash the match somehow, but like HBK would be the skeevy one and then do great in the match, and it was amazing. So do you think there would ever be another HBK caliber talent?
So like through the entire time I've been watching, there have been setting up people as, you know, they've been calling him, this is the next HBK.
Yeah.
And the 4 names that I have that I remember getting this moniker are Chris Jericho, Dolph Ziggler, Bryan Danielson, and Seth Rollins.
That is a formidable group of people.
But Chris Jericho has become his own thing, his own legend for sure. Dolph Ziggler kind of gone the opposite direction. I think they could have built him up into the new Shawn Michaels.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they almost did, but then they pulled it back, and now he's just he's the workhorse guy in the back.
Talent-wise, Dolph Ziggler is the most talented person on that list.
Definitely could do it too, but yeah, he's not going to be.
No.
Bryan Danielson also, I think, has just become his own dude. Like, his own amazing story, that whole thing that they put together for WrestleMania 30.
Yeah.
I don't think that's... I think it would be a disservice at that point to call him the new Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Because I think he made his own name at that point.
Yeah. I also think the way he wrestles because of his injuries, I don't think we can call it that anymore.
Right. So Seth Rollins being the last name for me on the list here. I really think he's kind of becoming the new Triple H, not the new HBK.
Could be
in a little ways. I mean, he's a little more skeevy than Triple H was, because Triple H is just kind of a more imposing figure.
Yeah,
but like he's turning into a. Well, I say that. I was about to say he's turning into the evil heel, not the cocky heel, but I kind of take that back, because he has been more in the cocky role the last few months, and now he's kind of like in a face place. I think he's finding his own path.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's enough time to build him into like an HBK level caliber wrestler.
Yeah, I don't think that's the direction they're going with that.
Yeah.
We also didn't talk about Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho. Like that match at WrestleMania 17.
That was a really good match.
There's too many good matches. Well,
but what about, I didn't hear from you. Do you think there's ever going to be one?
I don't think, because I think that comparison is so difficult. And immediately when you say this person is the next blank, you're like, he's not.
Right.
Like it almost is like
we were saying that with Bray Wyatt, the Fiend. Like he's going to be the new Undertaker, and
Yeah, it's almost like
It's not going to happen.
observing. It's almost like that law that when something is observed, it changes. It changes the results. Like I think that's when you go like, oh, he's the next, HBK. It's like, no, he's not going to be the next HBK. I think Dolph Ziggler really had a shot.
Yeah.
And I think had Dolph Ziggler been allowed to do more. But now at this point, I think he's just too fed up to want to do, any of that. I would also suggest that the closest right now is Kenny Omega. But I think Kenny Omega is more of a Jericho than anything else.
I would kind of agree with that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think closest right now would definitely be...
I would agree with that.
Omega.
As a statement, I would agree with that. Especially like the heel work.
Yeah.
Like heel HBK, like his heel run that he had when he had the championship here this last run with the guy from Impact being his manager and all that. Yeah. That does actually really remind me of HBK style back then. I like that.
And he wrestles very similarly.
Yes.
He can do the athletic stuff, but he doesn't do the high
type.
Flying stuff.
Right. But same kind of body type.
Yeah.
Same kind of feel to it. Yeah. Good. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah. That's why I'm the host. That's why I'm getting paid absolutely nothing to do this.
Host, I'm your boss. So chill out right there.
Bubba's my boss. And then behind him is Hillary. So
I have firing powers. Let's put it that way.
Well, whatever.
Cancel your show like that. It's going to be 2 words with Matt and Matt.
2 words, 1 host. The Matt Show. 2 words, Radio Matt. And that's every week. It's just Radio Matt. Good. First episode is Goodbye, John.
Should we do a whole storyline where I kick you out?
Well, now we can't.
And you release a
go rogue
pirate radio podcast. Dose Words with John Berkey.
Oh my gosh! And I would come up with a new with a whole new ministry,
right, whole new organization.
Like Thy Dork or something, So it'd be a rogue, and then we just infiltrate, and so like I have somebody.
SummerSlam, we go against each other.
Yeah, and then at some point, one of my members invades. We do an invasion storyline on church nerds. Like I get.
You know who I am.
Chris Gwaltney comes back all of a sudden.
Know why I'm here?
That's my thing. Chris Gwaltney's coming back, and we're gonna take the company back over together.
Oh,
yes!
Stay tuned for season 5.
This is the best. Season 5 is going to be off the chain, y'all. Well, that is our show, and that is our season. Let us know on our socials if there was something we missed about HBK, or maybe there's just you have proof that he isn't the undisputed number 1. I'm willing to listen to you.
I'll block you immediately.
I mean,
you blocked.
Wouldn't be the first message we've ignored this week. So anyway, sorry. Socials at 2 words LTN. That is any of our socials: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. OnlyFans.
I don't know. Stimulus.
I like how I just
Parlor?
said OnlyFans and you
said OnlyFans?
I said OnlyFans. Yeah. It's more than just that, okay, Matt?
Oh, no, we don't fake this meat. Did I cross the line? Am I fired? I think I'm fired now.
Gosh.